If they want me to testify, I'm going to testify and tell them what I know, what I seen.
One of the most powerful and feared men in the American music industry.
You have a prepaid call from
Suge Knight. Every time you turn around, everybody want to spread some lies.
But there's this thing that God's not going to put nothing on you that you can't bear.
Diddy remains entangled in the ongoing controversy surrounding allegations that he orchestrated the murder of Tupac Shakur, as Suge Knight, currently incarcerated, has announced his foray into the world of podcasting with a vengeance. The enmity between Suge and Diddy has long been a matter of public knowledge, replete with public threats by Suge directed at Diddy prior to his incarceration. Recently, Keith Murray disclosed an incident where he witnessed Suge Knight physically assaulting Diddy, and lab detective Greg Kading has corroborated the fact that Diddy lived in dread of Suge Knight. Remarkably, Suge has managed to secure a podcast deal, aptly titled Collect Call with Suge Knight, despite his incarceration. This podcast promises weekly conversations with notable figures from the realm of hip-hop and beyond. This development, coinciding with the arrest of Diddy's former associate Keith D in connection with Tupac's murder, has reportedly thrown Diddy into a state of unease, fearing that Suge's revelations could potentially incriminate both him and Keith in the ongoing case. The question arises, what has Suge disclosed in his podcast thus far, and could this lead to Diddy facing charges in connection with Tupac's murder? Let us delve into the intricacies of this situation. It has been almost a month since the arrest of Diddy's former associate, Keith D, on charges related to his involvement in Tupac's murder. The arrest has ignited widespread curiosity regarding whether it will ultimately lead to an investigation into Diddy's alleged payment of $1 million for Tupac's murder. Detective Greg Kading, known for his work on the Biggie Smalls murder case, previously confirmed that an informant had informed investigators of Diddy's purported offer of $1 million to the Crips with the intention of eliminating both Tupac and Death Row Records' CEO. Suge Knight, Keith D later corroborated this account, asserting that the Crips never received the money because Diddy reportedly funneled it through an intermediary named Eric Vaughn. It is common knowledge that Suge Knight was in the car with Tupac on that fateful night in September 1996 when the fatal drive-by shooting occurred. He miraculously survived a gunshot to the head. Of particular interest is Detective Kading's assertion that Suge was consistently Diddy's primary target. According to Keith D, Tupac had drawn attention to himself by provoking the East Coast-West Coast rivalry. Detective Kading further asserts that Diddy lived in constant fear of Suge and their feud predated Tupac's arrival in Los Angeles. In essence, Suge had been intimidating Diddy for an extended period, and the tension escalated after the murder of Suge's close friend, Big Jake, in Atlanta in 1995, allegedly at the hands of Diddy's chief bodyguard, Anthony Wolf Jones. Suge subsequently intensified his efforts to confront Diddy, openly recruiting artists associated with Bad Boy Entertainment to join Death Row Records and announcing his intentions to create Death Row East. However, these were not the sole activities in which Suge was involved during a Christmas party in Los Angeles in 1995. Suge and his associates confronted Mark Anthony Bell, a friend of Diddy's and a music promoter from New York, demanding that he divulge Diddy's family's home address. Bell refused, leading to an altercation where Suge reportedly assaulted Bell with a champagne bottle and forced him to drink his own urine from a champagne flute, all in an attempt to ascertain Diddy's whereabouts. Clearly, Diddy had valid reasons to be apprehensive about Suge. Additionally, Keith Murray has claimed that Diddy had already experienced Suge's wrath during an after-party at the Platinum House Club, where Suge infamously slapped Diddy. All of these factors set the stage for Diddy's alleged offer of $1 million to Keith D and the Crips for the elimination of Suge and Tupac. According to Detective Kading, Diddy's actions constituted a solicitation of murder, but investigators were hampered by their inability to provide evidence, given that the Crips never received the money. It essentially boiled down to a he said scenario involving Keith D and Diddy. However, the landscape has now shifted, as Suge Knight has entered the podcasting realm and is reportedly prepared to divulge information regarding Diddy's alleged involvement in Tupac's murder. The first episode of Suge's podcast debuted on October 23, with Suge addressing various figures within the music industry. including Snoop Dogg, Warren G, and Akon. Subsequent episodes are expected to adopt a freewheeling format, allowing Suge to express his unfiltered thoughts on a wide range of topics, including Diddy. Dave Mays, involved in the podcast's production, described it as an unfiltered and candid platform. Reports suggest that Diddy is currently in a state of anxiety, believing that his past sense of security has been disrupted by Suge's podcast. He is particularly concerned about what Suge might reveal regarding Tupac's murder, considering that, apart from Keef D, Suge is the sole living witness to the events in question. Certainly, let's continue to delve deeper into the intricate web of events and relationships surrounding Diddy, Suge Knight, and the mysterious circumstances surrounding Tupac Shakur's murder. Suge Knight's podcast, Collect Call with Suge Knight, opens the door to a plethora of unanswered questions and lingering mysteries. As Suge's revelations loom large, it's worth considering the broader context of the East Coast-West Coast hip-hop rivalry that played a significant role in shaping these events. The rivalry between the East Coast and West Coast rap scenes during the 1990s was marked by intense competition, feuds, and animosity between record labels and artists. Diddy, representing the East Coast, and Suge Knight, at the helm of the West Coast Death Row Records, became pivotal figures in this tumultuous era. The rivalry wasn't just a matter of musical competition. It often spilled over into real-life conflicts. Tupac Shakur's murder remains one of the most enduring mysteries in the world of hip-hop. He was gunned down in a drive-by shooting in Las Vegas in September 1996, and the murder has remained unsolved to this day. The speculation surrounding Tupac's murder and its connection to the East Coast-West Coast feud has been a topic of endless debate, documentaries, and conspiracy theories. Suge Knight's involvement in the incident, as a companion of Tupac on that ill-fated night, adds another layer of intrigue. His podcast promises to shed light on what he knows about the events leading up to the murder and the subsequent investigations. For many hip-hop enthusiasts, this podcast represents an opportunity to potentially uncover long-buried truths. One must also consider the complex network of relationships and alliances within the music industry during that era, the alignment of artists and record labels, the influence of gang affiliations, and the blurred lines between business and personal conflicts make for a convoluted backdrop against which these events unfolded. Moreover, the notion of Suge Knight, an incarcerated figure, having the means to launch a podcast while serving time raises questions about the power dynamics at play within the prison system, and the extent to which influence and connections can reach beyond prison walls. Suge's targeting of Diddy in his podcast has undoubtedly struck a nerve within the music industry and beyond. Diddy's rise to prominence in the music business is well documented, and the revelations made by Suge Knight have the potential to challenge the legacy and reputation of the Bad Boy Records founder. As the story continues to develop, it remains to be seen whether Suge's podcast will lead to any legal repercussions for Diddy or if it will merely serve as another chapter in the ongoing saga of East Coast-West Coast rivalry. It's a riveting tale of power, rivalry, and long-held secrets, and it underscores how the world of hip-hop is often a reflection of broader societal tensions and complexities. Intriguingly, Suge Knight's podcast is not only about the potential revelations it holds, but also about the larger questions it raises concerning the boundaries of influence, justice, and the enduring legacy of the East Coast-West Coast feud in the world of hip-hop. As this captivating narrative unfolds, it promises to captivate the attention of hip-hop enthusiasts and curious onlookers alike. The truth, as they say, is often stranger than fiction, and in this case, it may be more revealing than anyone anticipated.